Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be symbolic as I'm away to Cannes Festival working my magic on the red carpet. So I specifically planned for this video to come out during my stay in the Cannes Festival so you guys can see what it is like to create the makeup look for the red carpet. I'm here with my model Fatoma, and as you can see we have already prepared the skin, and as usual I'm going to add all of the products in the description box below. When I'm creating a stronger looks on my clients, I usually like to start with the eyes. If there is any makeup fallout during the eye makeup application, I can easily remove it with the cotton bud and move on to the clean foundation application. When creating the makeup looks for the red carpet, I know that there will be a lot of flash photography involved, so layering will be crucial. It is really important to make sure that all the layers adhered really well, and for this reason I like to apply the creamy products first. So first I used NARS Soft Matte Concealer in the shade Cafe all over the eyelid and took the color up until the nose area and blended it outwards towards the temples. Next I need to create some definition in the socket and also near the lash line, and for red carpet events I like to do it using the pencils. This time I chose this pencil from MUA brand in the color Obsession, as it is really blendable and moldable. So once I've applied it all over the desired areas, I then take a clean buffing brush and softly smudge the edges. So this product application will give me the definition around the eye socket, so whenever the flash photography will happen, the flash will not take away the layering that I have created, because sometimes when there is not enough layers on the eyes, the flash photography take away all of the coloring, and then everything that you have done is not even visible. For this look, I wanted to define Fatoma's eyes really well, and I decided to add the brown pencil on the lower part of the eyelid as well. So I'm packing the color really well all around the lashes, as I want the eyes to be the main focus of this look. And at this stage, I also have to make sure that all of the deepness and darkness of the color is smudged well, so there is no harsh lines left anywhere. Everything has to be blended for our next eyeshadow application, because once you set all the creams with the powder eyeshadows, there is really no coming back. And if you need to clean up anything, you will have to use the oil-based makeup remover, and it will just create more mess. This is why I like to take time during this stage and to make sure that everything is blended smoothly. Okay, so now we're moving on to the eyeshadows, and I'm using the brown eyeshadow from Pat McGrath's Mothership 5 palette, and this is my brown eyeshadow that's going to go near the lash line to set the darkest part of this makeup in place, to make sure that everything is sealed and nothing will move throughout the red carpet. And again guys, coming back to the layering, so all of these layers will help the makeup to last longer and also to photograph better. So as you can see, at this stage, all I have to do is just go over and duplicate all of the colors from the creamy products and set them with the powders. In the middle of the eye, I decided to use muted soft brown eyeshadow, as the idea for this look was to create the eye makeup using all shades of browns. And I didn't feel like the shimmery eyeshadow would kind of bring this look together. So I wanted to create a really soft, smoky look with a really muted middle of the eyelid. And at this stage, I also was not quite sure whether I wanted the strong liner or a smudgy liner. So I started a further eye definition by applying Anastasia Beverly Hills waterproof gel liner very close to the lashes. My goal here was to create the vision of a fuller lash, so I concentrated the color in between the lashes mostly. Also took it a little bit in the inner part of the upper eyelid and defined the bottom lashes as well. So it's really important to work really quickly here, as the gel liner is waterproof, and once it sets, there is no coming back. Okay, so at this stage, I'm going to leave the eyes be and move on to the eyebrows. Fatoma has fantastic eyebrows and they're very easily styled. I love how bushy they are, and all I want to do is brush them up and emphasize on the original shape. So first I'm combing through gummy and making sure that the shape that I create is the one that I like because once the gummy sets, there is no moving them around. They're literally going to be glued for the rest of the night. Once I'm happy with the initial shape, I then go over and use Anastasia Beverly Hills Deep Brow Pomade to fill in any gaps that I can find. Again, I want the eyebrows to look natural, so all I'm doing is filling in the gaps and also filling them in the direction of the growth of the hair. This will ensure that that filling is as naturally looking as possible. And what I also like to do is to emphasize the end of the brow a little bit more, so I'm concentrating more color on the edges to make that tail just a slightly more defined than the rest of the brow. And underneath the brow, I like to clean up using a soft matte concealer from MAC in a lighter shade than the original shading that we used all over the eyelid. And this one is Tiramisu, which is beautiful highlighting shade for Fatoma's skin tone. And after I completed the eye makeup, I also popped some individual lashes off camera. And while they're drying, I'm going to move on to the complexion. For the complexion, I decided to use one of my favorite foundations for red carpet events. This one is a Radiant Full Coverage Foundation from NARS. And if you watch my videos, you may know that I love to pair it together with the Sheer Glow foundation from NARS. And I find that mixing these two formulas together give me the best result for my clients. So I like to mix colors as I go along. And as you can see around the jawline, I started with a little bit darker shade. But as I'm moving forward to the inner parts of the face, I'm actually starting to mix in a lighter shade. So I'm kind of sculpting the face as I go along, already using the same textures, so the same foundation but different shades. So this gives me more natural finish and transition between the colors on the skin. And as I like to pair the same brands for the concealer and for the foundation, for this look I decided to use the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. I selected a shade lighter for under the eye area. When creating stronger makeup looks or red carpet makeup looks, I love to brighten underneath the eye a little bit more than in any other makeup. When you highlight underneath the eye, you automatically draw attention to the eye makeup. When I created super stunning looks on my models and my clients for red carpet, I love to emphasize the eyes. And it's really important to draw all the colors around them in a correct manner, so the eyes are the main focal point of the makeup look. And so not only the underneath eye area is highlighted, I am applying the rest of the concealer all around the middle parts of the face, a little bit on the nose bridge and the chin. Like this, the look will be cohesive and all the colors will flow from one into another smoothly and seamlessly. What I also like to do when I create red carpet looks is to spray the sponge with the setting spray and dab it all over the face one more time to make sure that all of the foundation is adhered onto the skin really well and is not going to be moving throughout the red carpet event. So once I have completed the canvas, I'm moving on to contouring. So for the flash photography, it is super important to define the face. And it is super important to define the face in layers, and we are starting with the creams first. In today's look, I decided to use the Tarte's Creamy Contouring product, which I first melt into the back of my hand and then pick it up with a fluffy brush and apply it onto the contours to the face. Of course, underneath the jawline, underneath the cheekbone, bridge of the nose and the sides. This will help me to mold the face and create that definition for the pictures, so whenever the flash photography goes, everything looks carved and chiseled. The residue I also add on to the collarbones to define them in the flash photography even more, and on top we can also highlight, but that will be a little bit later. Once I have added the contours of the face, I then move on and add blusher. This look I wanted to be all within the browns, peachy tones, so I chose this Neo Armani cream blush, which is a hybrid in between the cream and a powder blush. Super pigmented, as you can see, blends and melts into the skin smoothly and seamlessly. Really love this product. Somehow I don't use it very often, but today for Fatoma's complexion, that was a fantastic choice. eyes. I also like to dab the residue of the product all over the contours of the face. This will bring more color to these areas and also merge the whole look together. And now I also can set underneath the eyes with the powder, and for this I'm using the Hourglass translucent setting powder in the shade medium. And for this look, I decided to use a wet beauty blender to apply the powder. Usually I don't use this technique, but again, for red carpet, oh my god guys, you cannot be too glowy. The middle of the face and underneath the eyes always has to be powdered so well. And by using wet beauty blender, dipping it into the powder, we are pushing it deeper into the skin and setting everything better. So the look looks a little bit more matte than if you are using a normal powder brush, but for red carpet, it is often necessary. I also went over and deepened the contours of the face using Charlotte Tilbury's Airbrush bronzer, and also decided to emphasize more on the blush. I find very often that if you don't put enough of the blush, once the flash goes, it almost always disappears. And we don't want this to happen. So I decided to double up the blush by using Limbo's Cashmere Powder Blush in the shade Summer Dress, which as you can see is almost neon looking now, which is fantastic for the look that I have in my mind. Moving on to the lips, and I am using Charlotte Tilbury's lip liner in the shade Foxy Brown. Again, I will be working within the brown shadings on the lips. I don't want anything too strong or too popping, so the lips don't compete with the eyes. Once I line the lip, I then fill them in using Discontinued lipstick from Kim Kardashian, which is one of my favorite colors, but I'm so sorry guys, you cannot get it anymore. And this is my final tube, so once it's done, it's gone. Sorry. And not to keep the face too matte, I decided to use a slight highlighting on the highest points of the cheeks and a little bit in the middle of the nose by using Laura Mercier's Face Illuminator. As we are going on a red carpet event and usually the chest and décolleté area is open, it's very important to moisturize it. And of course, I'm using Charlotte Tilbury's Model Body for that. And this is pretty much it. This is our look completed after I spray it with Charlotte Tilbury's setting spray, adding a little accessory to spice things up, and here is our before and after. Hope you guys enjoyed watching this tutorial. I definitely enjoyed creating it for you. Me and Fatoma are obsessed with this look. I hope you are too. Let me know in the comments if you enjoyed it. Alright guys, well this is it for me this week. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram to see my journey and Cannes and to see what I'm up to and the looks I create throughout these 2 beautiful weeks of the film festival. Thank you very much for tuning in, and I see you in 2 weeks.